Hi everybody, real quick video here. This is just violin input. So what we're tackling here in Guitar Pro is inputting for instruments that aren't guitar. Now I don't think of violin players as using tab, but when you think about it logically, it's a stringed instrument. You put your fingers down in places where frets may be, so it's totally possible to write violin out in tab. Now, the score that I'm looking at here is Gladiator, Honour Him. Now when it comes to inputting something like this, not being a violin player myself, I would go to input this using the stave, and I'd input the notation like that. So I'm looking at my score on the right, notation on the left, and what's going to happen is when I put a rest in there, it's going to put in a rest. I move across and I put in an A, and that note is going to appear in the tab. Now it's going to do this in an automatic way. It's going to do this in a way that it deems sensible. I will come back and I will correct that in a second. Now I'm not sure if the guy that's messaged me this is doing so because he needs help with creating tab for things that he can't play. Maybe he's not a great reader and he wants to tab things out. The problem with doing things this way is when I look at that 05153, I look at that, and from a guitar player's perspective, I feel it would make more sense to change that note to the 8th fret on the, well, what are we tuned there? It's an A string, isn't it? Yeah, of course. So the 8th fret on the A string, but that's really a case of personal taste, personal preference, the way that you prefer to work. So a violin player might look at me and say, no, yeah, that's totally the way that I would play that. So I'll leave it like that for now. I'll just enter a little bit more just so you can see this. So I'm just going to the note that I need on the tab, on the notation, and inputting that note by pressing enter, and then it automatically puts it in the tab. C, we've got an F dotted down to an E, and then a D, that ties across the bar, goes to A, D, F, so on and so forth, down to G. Yeah, so at this point, this is where you're going to want to look at things and maybe, let's make that full screen. This is where you're going to want to look at things and work out the best way for you to play them, right? So I'm looking at this, like I say, and if you want to change notes, there's a couple of ways that you can do that. I'm looking for the shortcut over here, and I'm not seeing it. It used to be in Guitar Pro 6. I just know it's a shortcut. So what I'm doing is I'm pressing Alt and down, and what that will do is it will move that note to another string. Make sense? So I can go through this and I can finger it in a way that I deem sensible. This all looks pretty sensible to me. I'm sure you could totally play it that way. I mean, I might make the argument that I would prefer this, but if you wouldn't, you know, I'm not a violin player. Don't listen to me. So that's really all there is on that. It's an incredibly short tutorial. I'm not running into problems. See, the person that sent me the message about this and having problems with this, they were getting negative numbers. They were putting tab notes in the stave, and it was coming out as like -14. And I don't know how that's happened, but it's not something I'm experiencing. So hopefully that was of some use to you. Maybe, maybe not.